Caitlin Clark has been left off the women's Olympic team, and the world is going crazy. Now, let me give you a couple of things that I think. I'm going to get into what a lot of other people think. First, a missed opportunity. Absolute missed opportunity for women's basketball. It's kind of stupid. Like, nobody really gives a rat's ass about women's basketball. You can act like you do. You can act like the numbers are growing up, expansion, all this stuff. But the WNBA has been a train wreck of a league. Unlikable personalities, unlikable coaches, unlikable broadcasters. The whole thing is unlikable. Nobody paid attention. Well, now they do. Why? Because of Caitlin Clark. So you had the opportunity to bring Caitlin out to the Olympics and make the Olympics a big story because, let's be honest, she's the biggest basketball star in the world. Ratings for the Dallas-Boston series are historically low, or at least historically over the last, few years, and Caitlin Clark's ratings are up. Why? Because there's a lot of young ladies in this country. There are. Black, white, or game resonates. So they miss an opportunity. But having said that, if I'm on the Olympic Committee, my number one goal is to win. Win, and more win. And sometimes, like Charles Barkley, John Stockton, and others being snubbed from the Olympic team, Karl Malone, you sometimes got to put a team together that's just going to win for you. And that means personalities. And if Diana Taurasi needs to be on that team at 106 years old, God bless her. Like, I think it's great for Caitlin Clark. I think I agree with Jamel Hill here, but God dang, that's just dumb. I think it's great for Caitlin Clark because could you imagine spending all that time with those women? Those jealous, petty, ridiculous women? Those jealous, petty, ridiculous women that can't stop eyeballing you, side-eyeing you, hating on you? See, we only see the hate publicly. It's like a duck, right? You only see up top, but you don't know what's swimming below. I got people in the WNBA, and they tell me it's so ridiculous. They tell me the lesbian thing is so ridiculous, so hateful, so mean to her. Not necessarily face-to-face, obviously, but on the court, the things that are said, yes. But just the way the league has run itself, and all you got to do is look at the 5, I'm guessing, lesbians that decided Caitlin Clark couldn't be on the team, including Dawn Staley. And you're like, yeah, I can see this. But I also, if I am running the Olympic team, I got to say, wait a second. I don't need this distraction. I don't want this. I want this team. These women have earned it. We're going to go play. That's what I would do because, look, the team that's second is Belgium. Me, a pregnant nun, a Sherpa, my wife, my daughter, and I don't know, one of these fish out here in this pond could beat Belgium in women's basketball. Are you crazy? I mean, what's wrong with you? So it really doesn't matter. You get to gloat that you're going to win. Again, when Belgium is the number 2 team, I think it's Belgium. It's either that or like Norway. It's one of these Scandinavian countries. I mean, what are you going to do? You show up, you talk some smack, you act like an idiot, you win some games, you embarrass yourselves, and you go home. Caitlin Clark would have brought a little bit of class to it. A little class. Just a little class. Bill Maher shared some blunt thoughts about Caitlin Clark, calling out her critics and teammates for not championing her, simply because they are jealous. Let's hear from Bill Maher.
I'm excited for the girls that are on the team. I know it's the most competitive team in the world, and I know it could have gone either way of me being on the team, me not being on the team. So, I'm excited for them. I'm going to be rooting them on to win gold. I was a kid that grew up watching the Olympics, so it'll be fun to watch them.
What was your level of disappointment not hearing your name on the roster?
Honestly, no disappointment. Like, I think it just gives you something to work for. That's a dream. Hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. You remember that, and hopefully in 4 years, when 4 years comes back around, I can be there.
Did you have a direct conversation with managing director and whoever over there at USAB recently?
Yeah, they called me and let me know, and before everything came out, which was really respectful of them, and I appreciated that. And they did the same for every girl that made the team or every girl that didn't make the team. There's a lot of players in the Olympic pool, so it wasn't like I was the only one they had to call. They had to make quite a few calls.
See, if this was men,
yeah, how classy.
They defend each other on their same team. I mean, men will fight from 2 teams, but when somebody checks you on who's on your team, you defend that guy. I'm just saying, men have their bad parts. We're toxic. We're dogs. But only women would do this.
Well,
women are catty, even the ones on her own team. Matt Barnes, he said, my question and my issue is, where the are her teammates at? I've seen a couple of girls smirk when she's got knocked down. Half pick her up. It's not always racism when a white person succeeds.
And it's not always racism when black people hip check them either, right? Like
no.
both are at play.
No.
I think it's natural for a megastar to come in and people say, I'm kind of tired of hearing
it's
about
everything.
her.
It's women are catty. The league is very lesbian, and she's not. And there's race. There's a lot of going on here, but.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. Women are incredibly catty. My wife has told you that. Well, many, many times. She's told me that, and I've told you that. Look, it is some racism. It is some sexism. I mean, lesbians, man, they don't want to see more straight girls succeed. You know, they didn't really care about that Sabrina lady or Kelsey Plum. They're good players, and they're nice guys, whatever. But Caitlin Clark's different. Caitlin Clark is more popular than Diana Taurasi, more popular. I don't even know who the hell the other women are. More popular than Asia Wilson. It just makes them crazy because she hasn't earned it in their mind. You know, the other two, and everybody points to these two, Aya Skusku or whatever the hell her name is, and Kelsey Plum, who, by the way, dresses and so hot. But anyway, and she knows, so don't get on my ass about saying that. That's why she's doing it. She reacts to when people call her very hot. She likes that. She's on the market. She dumped Darren Waller, which you got to do, who, by the way, retired. You get a lot of news here in the first 8 minutes. But anyway, the point of the matter is these women are so catty. They're so ridiculous. And we knew it was coming. My wife knew two things about the world of women's sports that was changing. People that were going to make the most money were Olivia Dunn and the two little girls. They're going to take their clothes off, show their ass, get themselves in bikinis, and make money in the NIL space. The other thing she knew when she watched the popularity of Caitlin Clark is that all of these women were going to be crazy. All of these women were going to be awful, hateful, petty, catty, whatever word you want. And boy, oh boy, have they proved that to be true. But thank God for Caitlin Clark. Like, think about my man Gigi, Greg Doyle here. Didn't know how to act. McAfee's had his problems with speech. Writers have had all kind of problems talking to her. What is she, the Messiah? You can't speak to this woman? Oh, stop. Nobody, knows how to talk to Caitlin Clark, except Caitlin Clark knows how to talk to everybody. It's kind of fascinating. All the race baiters are out in force. The race baiters are coming. You know this. I mean, look, we've got, Jamel Hill. Jamel Hill, race baiter extraordinaire. No talent. Couldn't do TV, isn't a writer, just talks. I mean, she's become like, a guru. Jamel Hill says, honestly, Caitlin Clark not being on this year's Olympic team is a good thing for her. Span of weeks, she went from playing college ball to becoming a professional, to having a grind of schedule. Multi-week break probably isn't the worst thing in the world. She'll eventually make the Olympic team. Well, then Jamal Hill isn't as dumb as I thought. Good for you, Jamal Hill. Even the dumbest can have a good thought. Even the most hateful, even the most race-baiting, even the most biased can have a good thought once in a while. She's absolutely right. Absolutely. Can you imagine, but I would add this, can you imagine being around those women for like 3 weeks in a foreign country? Those women, that'd be like being in prison. I mean, you got to have your head on a swivel. You got to watch your back. And then you got the committee members who are all going to be out there. And those women are trying to backstab you or do whatever they do. Scissors, I don't know, whatever the hell they do. They would try to kill you. And don't at me because you think I'm being dramatic. These women have been horrible. I told you, I got people inside the WNBA, the vitriol, the hate, the jealousy towards Caitlin Clark. It ain't all racial. It is jealousy. Racial's a part of it. Sex is a part of it, all that stuff. She has a boyfriend, seems to have a nice life. Biggest thing is how much money she's made. And a lot of the women, most of the women, all of the women, don't think she's earned it. Because they've been out here grinding, acting like idiots, being mean to the media, showing up and acting like fools, immature for years and years and years, and it hasn't worked. Here comes somebody that can ball and acts mature, and it's worked. Pretty amazing. Two other sources, this is the reason, and I refuse to believe this. Two other sources, both long-time USA basketball veterans with decades of experience in the women's game, told USA Today Sports Friday that concern over how Clark's millions of fans would react to what would likely be limited playing time on a stacked roster was a factor in the decision-making. If true, That would be an extraordinary admission of the tension that this multi-million-dollar success sensation who signs autograph for dozens of children before and after every game has caused for the old guard of women's basketball. The two people spoke on condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of the matter. This is exactly what I'm telling you. Like, you can't put this, nobody can say this publicly. That's exactly what I'm telling you. The cattiness, it isn't the race. You can keep saying it's the race. It's not. Well, it's part. It's some. Nothing ever happens because of one reason, but it's the cattiness. Hey, think about this. Guy in the NBA is playing. You know what? He's a player on a team. Probably making, I don't know, let's say $5 to $10 million a year. Now, I don't give a damn who you are or who you're hanging with. That's pretty good money. All right, Jaylen Brown's making 60. Fine. There's a big difference there, except that the person at the 5 to 10 million mark is generationally wealthy. Now think about the WNBA. Caitlin Clark comes in with State Farm, Wilson, Nike. She comes in with all these deals, Gainbridge. She's making $28 million off of her deal with Nike. She comes in with all of this, and she's playing with people making $67,000 to $78,000. There's a big difference there. A lot of resentment there. People would say, man, just give me $1 million. I mean, I can hear these dumbasses every day. Hey, man, give me $1 million. I mean, I can hear the stupidity. I lived with the stupidity for years and years and years as a coach and as a player. I could hear it. I know how it works. So they're tired of her. They don't like her. And you know what? I got to tell you, man, they're probably right. I mean, all these fans would be mad, right? It was like Tebow. You couldn't sign Tebow because you did not want to have Christian crazy people camped outside, hoping to see the Messiah. You don't want that action. You can't sign Kaepernick, same reason. I mean, this isn't that hard. That's why I'm here. Speaking of not that hard, there is an idiot in the media, and he's an African-American dude that tries so hard. I'm not going to say his name because he's such a little cowardly chicken blank, I'll use the word pissant, that he doesn't warrant any conversation of his name that would publicize him, which is what he wants. So anyway, I love Joe Mazzulla. I liked Joe Mazzulla when he was a player, beating Chris Paul in college, West Virginia against Wake Forest. Joe Mazzulla declined the opportunity to spread the race-baiting narrative of a clown. And he took on a personality that I think a lot of people could like. And he did something that you got to do, Nick, others, everybody. You stop at the period. Watch this. This is Joe Mazzulla reacting to an idiot's question.
Hey, Joe. Ben School, Yahoo Sports. For the first time since 1975, this is the NBA Finals where you have two black head coaches. Given the plight sometimes of black head coaches in the NBA, do you think this is a significant moment? Do you take pride in this? How do you view this, or do you not see it at all?
I wonder how many of those have been Christian coaches. David Aldridge?
There you go. The plight? Dudes are getting jobs that can't coach blind turkeys and take a dump. Why? Because they're African-American, both as assistants, guys sitting behind the bench. Just stop about the plight. There ain't no plight. Of course, that pissed off this little sniveling pissant. Race is one of the defining issues of this country. It's not easy to talk about, but when one avoids it, it adds fuel to the already complicated fight. Oh, my ass. His relationship with his own racial identity is personal, but his answer certainly opens the door for more questions, especially because it's Boston, and the labor force is overwhelmingly black. Today, you'll hear things in the stands that'll make you a little uncomfortable. Even nothing directly racial is said. Oftentimes, it's just a feeling, well, no shit, dumbass. I mean, as a white dude, you hear things in the stands. I mean, honest to God. Yeah, well, it's not racial, but it makes you uncomfortable. Really? Hey, Tatum, shoot the ball, you moron. Oh, my God, I'm so uncomfortable. Hey, Irving, you suck. You should have stayed here in Boston. Oh, my God, as a black man, I'm uncomfortable. As a white man, I'm uncomfortable. Oh, my God, God forbid we're uncomfortable. What a piece of shit this guy is, seriously. And I'm not even going to say his name because that's all he wants. He has no talent. He's been fired from every job, but he keeps landing and going upward because, frankly, he's black. That's the only reason. Every single human being in the sports arena knows this guy is a jackass. Yet he continues to get jobs. You can get mad at me all you want for saying it, but I'm just telling you the truth. This dude is the worst. Man, today you'll hear things in the stands that'll make you a little uncomfortable, even if nothing directly racial is said. Really? That's like Bomani Jones saying, well, every white dude, I got to check out to see if he's racist. Man, I don't give a damn if you think I'm whatever. I mean, damn. Like, oh, man, you got to answer to these guys? You know what I mean? Are you out of your mind? That guy is a damn fool. I tell you what, go to ML Football. I think it's _ML Football. _ML Football put out this story. Harrison Butker played a vital role in saving B.J. Thompson during his seizure and cardiac arrest, chief staffer says. When he had the seizure, Butker immediately ran towards the training room, grabbed assistant trainers Jill Freimeyer and David Glover, and then grabbed me. We went into the room. As a team, we tried to stabilize BJ, put him on the floor while he was still seizing, Burkholder added. Then he went into cardiac arrest. Our team of that group of people provided CPR for him. He had one AD shock, came back, so he was only in cardiac arrest for less than a minute and a half. Our players, our security staff, everybody involved, coaches and staff, they were phenomenal in handling the crisis. Now, of course, you know the level of stupid that comes with Harrison Butker. Not him, people around him. So ML _football, I'm going to make sure I have the site right because it's really a good site. But people lost their ever-loving minds. Well, good thing the woman wasn't in the kitchen. Butker isn't really a hero. The lady is. Well, nobody's disputing that. Butker happens to be a guy that all of you dumbasses decided was a bad guy because he gave a Catholic speech at a Catholic school on Catholic values. And that made you crazy. And that's good. Go over there and be crazy. So Harrison Butker does this. I can't believe we're glorifying Harrison Butker. Really? What can't you believe about it? Belgium, plus 2,000. I'm looking at my old tweets. I'm telling you, get a nun, get a Sherpa, get a shepherd, get 3 30-year-old retirees, and we too could go win the Women's Olympics, but I digress. The beauty of Harrison Butker is people are exposing themselves for being the dumbest of the dumb. And I am here for it. I shout out to the real heroes. It's a damn good thing that trainer wasn't in the kitchen. What Julie did was heroic. What Harrison Butker did should be human nature. Oh, stop it. You know what 90% of the people do out on the real streets? They take out their phone and take pictures when somebody's getting beat up or having a seizure. Wouldn't that make Julie a hero? Personally, I think the woman was working there. I'm surprised he allowed her to save his life. I mean, the level of stupid. Honest to God, the level of stupid. Mr. Unlimited, I think calling Butker a hero after grabbing someone else to be a hero is a massive stretch. Also, according to him, shouldn't the trainer have been in the kitchen? Or maybe she was in the kitchen. Maybe that's what they do in the training room. Maybe they cook up some fries. Maybe they cook up some nachos. Maybe they get a little chicken sando going. I'll go. Maybe a club sandwich, a little bit of bacon on it. I'm sorry, but what about his actions were heroic? No, man. John Roca. Oh, good thing she pursued her ambition to be so good at her job that she was available for a man who can't save lives and wanted to be. Oh, shut up. I mean, honest to God. The level of stupid is why we're here, ladies and gentlemen. It is. It's why we have the fastest growing, best show in the history of television. And I do consider this television. Honest to God. I can't believe he let her out. Oh, shut up. Just shut up. Randy Gregory's from right over here. Randy Gregory is a troubled star. He was a troubled star in high school. I watched him play basketball with Gary Harris, NBA star, Mr. Basketball in the state of Indiana. And I thought he was pretty good as a basketball player, great as a football player. He ends up going to Nebraska. All kind of trouble has followed Randy Gregory because of a variety of addictions, apparently. Well, Randy Gregory has now filed a lawsuit. He's filed a lawsuit against the Denver Broncos and the NFL over fining him for using THC. He said, look, my doctor said I need it. He took it. They fined him. He's firing back. You know, it's a really tough thing. Like, I've always thought to trust doctors and pilots. I've always trusted them. So if a doctor tells me, look, you've got this condition, you need THC, and he's a legit doctor, not one of these guys that got 3 C's in college, 4 D's and F, but because their last name is whatever, they get into medical. I'm talking about a real doctor. Tells me I need this, and it's going to change my life for the better, get rid of whatever it is it's curing me, let's put it that way. I got to go and do it. And Gregory did it. Now, they fined him about $50,000. He wants it back. I don't blame him. What the hell? Take a swing, man. Former Steelers offensive lineman Ramon Foster's pissed. He's pissed at the Buffalo Bills. Why? Because they signed wrestler Gable Stevenson. Really? I mean, the Colts here have signed football players. The Colts here signed a rugby player. Daniel Adongo ended up getting arrested for some crap. I don't know. But why is it bad? We're going to find out here in a second. Why does Ramon think it's bad that they signed a wrestler? Wait a second. I got to go to Randy Gregory's first. Hang on, caller. I like this. Randy Gregory's lawsuit against the NFL alleges discrimination over fines. Listen to this. That totaled $532,500. He was fined for allegedly taking medication containing THC, an active ingredient in weed. During his time with the Broncos, he appeared in 6 games, 24 games in 2023 before he was traded. Wow. Gregory said he was prescribed Dramamine for social anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder, according to the complaint filed in the Arapahoe County District Court. However, the pass rusher said he was denied the option to take the prescribed medicine. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a real tough one. I mean, if I'm supposed to take medicine for those disorders, and I would like to be able to take that medicine to get rid of those disorders. I'm thankful I don't have those disorders, or maybe I do and I don't know it. But I got to tell you, man, if a doctor told me this would help, I think, though, I might, and maybe Gregory did, ask, hey, got any generics for this that don't have THC? Got anything else? Got anything different? Like yesterday, I was dying. My back was hurting. I was playing golf up in Northwest Indiana with my brother and some guys, and my back was killing me. And I asked a guy who was a former trainer, man, you got any hydrocodone or anything like that? This is killing me. And he's like, no, but I have Celebrix. Okay, good. So I bought him a Tito's on the Rocks, and he gave me a Celebrix. Back felt good after about a half hour. So there's other medicines, is what I'm saying. That's my point. Maybe Gregory tried. Maybe he didn't. Hell, I don't know. But he's got a hell of a lawsuit, and if I got fined over $532,000, I'd be pissed too. Now back to Ramon Foster. I don't understand. So this guy's mad. I mean, the Colts have a tight end, Mo Ellie Cox, that played basketball. Marcus Pollard, former tight end, played basketball. Daniel Abunga was a rugby player. I mean, what's the problem? Let's hear from Ramon. Hate every bit of it. Nope. You were pro in a different sport. Hate it. And I ain't mad at him. Just calling me a hater because I hate this. You just can't show up to go to practice and think you can do this. Well, we're going to find out. I mean, aren't we going to find out? I mean, look, being a big fat guy, if you're a big fat wrestler, you probably got great feet, great hands, and understand leverage. So it makes sense that you might try this. Anyway, this dude's trying to come out here and play football. I hope they line him up 9-on-7. Why? Do you hear me? Put him on Dawkins. Deion Dawkins, and just let him have his way with him. I'm tired of these folks trying to walk out here and think, oh, because I'm physical, I'm strong, I can move good in good, quick spaces that I can play football. No, boo that man. What? Why? Are we supposed to boo Antonio Gates? Oh. I mean, why? Tony Gonzalez? I mean, what? Why this guy? I mean, look, if I sign him as the Bills did, I'm going to try to set him up to succeed, not some jealous ex-fat guy being mad and put him in a bad spot. I'm going to put him in good spots. I'm going to teach him technique. I'm going to teach him what to do. I'm going to teach him, obviously, the plays. I'm going to teach him where to go. I'm going to try to develop some instincts in him along with some technique. Why would you try to sign somebody and hope they fail? Hey, look, we signed this kicker. You know what? He played Australian rules football. I don't like him. When he's out there, get a deflated ball. Don't let him kick. People are stupid. Anyway, you want to come out here and play football. And on top of this, you don't have your little leotard anymore. You got pads on. You got to wear cleats. We don't have the little slippery shoes on a soft mat. We ain't got none of that. Guess what? You actually have to run the play. You actually got to be aggressive enough to know that we will trap you. I can't wait to do a wham play on a guy like this. Set him up with a fake block. Oh, guess what? Here's my right guard. Welcome to the show. Yeah, I don't get it. No, I really don't get it. Guy seems like a nice guy. I saw him interviewed, and he seemed like a great guy. Ramon Foster seems like a dumbass, which I guess he is. I got to tell you, I'm watching the Preakness, and Sierra Leone was the best horse in the Preakness. Sierra Leone got pinched. Coming out of the gate, 2 horses next to him pinched, and it was over. I watched the start. I watched my horse. I had a lot of money bet on the horse. I looked at Lee. It's over. What are you going to do? We fight on, people. We fight on. But anyway, Sierra Leone didn't win. Dornoch did. Guess who owns Dornoch? I like this guy. I always like this guy. Jayson Werth, big-time talented dude. His horse's win feels good as a World Series title. Former Nats, former Phillies. Has won World Series. Got great hair. Jayson Werth, after being one of the owners, pretty cool, of the Belmont winner. Here he is.
We bet him hard. We believed in him. We believed in the team. We believed in the process, and that's what got us here. Just being in the race, just being in the Belmont, being in the Derby, it's a huge accomplishment. It is the top of horse racing, the top of sports. I can't explain what it's like to be an owner and have a horse even in the race to win it. Out of this world. I'll put it up there with anything I've ever done. This is the top of sports. Horse racing is the most underrated sport there is. This is as big as it gets. These are the emotions you feel when you play in a playoff game, when you win a World Series game, when you arguably when you win a World Series. This is the top of sports. Is the top of sports, and that's where we're at.
He's right about that. I own some horses, and when it wins a little stakes race or a claiming race here in Indiana or Illinois or Kentucky or wherever, we're all excited. Nah, seriously, and I would love, and I'm trying to figure out how to get, I don't have that kind of money, and neither does our syndicate, to get into that kind of a deal. But, man, would that be a blast. I'm telling you, we went to the horse races on Saturday, Derby Day. We thankfully, to our friends at Horseshoe Indianapolis, they gave us a $10,000 check to sponsor our golf outing, and we took some pictures and hung out. And I got to tell you, man, I've always said this. Your horse is here. He comes spinning out of the turn, as Phil George F. used to call at Arlington Park. And, man, you're up, you're yelling, and you don't even know what you said. It's like you're speaking in tongues. Blast. Absolute freaking blast. Per the Philadelphia Inquirer, Werth got into racing in 2021. While trying to combat the post-retirement malaise, ended up buying into Dornoch in 2022. The purchase was made at Keeneland's September yearling sale in Kentucky, one of the industry's biggest auctions. Werth told the Inquirer that his involvement came about by accident. I was extremely lucky to be involved. The way I got in on Dornoch is a crazy story. I went to the right side of the bar instead of the left side of the bar. I just happened to buy the right guy a drink and started talking to him. That person reportedly told Werth that Dornoch is the brother of 2023 Kentucky Derby winner Maggi and has a pedigree that includes 2008 Derby and Preakness Stakes winner Big Brown. Big Brown was like an American hero. He offered Werth a 10% stake in the horse that sold for $325,000. So obviously his stake was $32,500. That, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty damn cool. at least in my mind. That is very freaking cool. Now, very, very cool. See, here's the deal. I've always liked that guy. I always felt he was a big-time talent, a little weird, which I can get down with. And now that he's grown his hair out, man, I'm all in on it. Good for him. I'm telling you. Look, we all fight things. I always tell folks this. Guys will be like, man, Dan, we play golf. You press every time you're down. I go, no, I like the competition. Like I played yesterday, my brother and a couple buddies, we lost like $34. I don't care how much the money is. I just like the competition. I like beating someone's ass, or I don't even mind getting my ass beat. I just like to have a putt that means something every hole. That's why I play a game called The Judge. It's Larry Bird's game. Jerry Seasting was on our show a couple years ago, played with Bird. I'm playing, me and my partner are playing against Nick and Nick. One Nick gets a 4, I get a 4. Usually in low ball, that's it. We move on to the next hole. Not with The Judge. The next ball determines it. So if the other Nick gets a 5 and my guy gets a 6, they win the hole. The Judge, the second ball, it's glorious.